What is up, guys? It is DMG here, and today we're going to be going over, of course, the FIFA 19 demo. Personally, I've been waiting for this type of video for weeks, even months, really, for the first, FIFA 19 thing that's actually gameplay related. So I'm really excited to be talking about something like this with you guys, and we are going to be going over just kind of initial things with FIFA 19 for gameplay related, just because of, it came out literally just a few hours ago. So I've only played, I think, 10, 15 games or so, that's enough to kind of scratch the surface of what's good, what's bad, what's overpowered, not overpowered, but we won't know 100% sure what's, good or bad, overpowered, not overpowered, until we play a lot more games, which, when we do that, I'll probably make another video over it, but in the meantime, we will just be talking about just kind of the initial gameplay stuff. And also in the future, we're going to be doing some, squad builders, some starter squads with, top leagues like the Premier League, Serie A, Bundesliga, that stuff. Some maybe some hybrids as well, or some lower rated leagues with the Turkish league, with Russian league, the Portuguese league, all that stuff. And we might go over also the top 100 players to determine, who's going to be really good, who's going to be bad. Once again, we figure out who's, like what stats are important and what's going to be overpowered and what's not overpowered. But again, in the meantime, it's just going to be the FIFA 19 demo, just kind of starting to kind of scratch the surface over what's good and what's not good. So kind of initially, actually, what I wanted to talk about was not actually gameplay related, but the tactics. So I guess it's not in the gameplay, but it obviously affects the gameplay. And I like it so far just because, you can't park the bus, you can't go all out attack, so I took that out completely, which is really nice. But they made tactics a little bit more in depth, so it's good just kind of have it on balanced, right? So you kind of your main game plan, but then if you're down 1-0 in the 85th minute, you can go ultra attacking and have some different tactics set up. If you're winning 1-0 in the 85th minute and your opponent's kind of hitting you with shot after shot, you can switch to ultra defensive and have a new type of game plan set up. So you can change game plans for balanced, defensive, ultra attacking, all that stuff, which is really nice. But initially you obviously want to keep it on balanced, and you can decide how many people are in the box for corners, how many people are in the box for free kicks. So for me personally, I don't really have people in the box for free kicks. Like, I never send the ball into the box at all, so I'm gonna have only like one, maybe two people in the box, right? So for me, at least, that's going to be my balance setting. Once I'm losing, if I'm losing in like the 85th minute, then I'm going to switch to ultra attacking, and then my tactics there are going to have, everyone in the box. But for balanced, that's just going to be my tactic of, having everyone kind of not in the box and everyone back. So that's really helpful. Just the tactic thing is really nice. So then going into the actual gameplay part of it, right? Attacking wise, main thing that we have to talk about first is the time shooting. I haven't really done it a lot. It's kind of hard to figure out because I thought that that bar, that green bar or red green bar, was going to show up every single time you tried to attempt it, but apparently not. Maybe if you have like the trainer on, it does, but I didn't. I was kind of expecting it to show up every single time you shot, but apparently not. But you still, it will just take some time to figure out when to time certain things. So if you're kind of slowly dribbling and you're not actually sprinting, then you're gonna have to tap B quicker than if you are sprinting, right? Because if you're sprinting, the ball is gonna be out from you a lot longer, and you're gonna have to wait a little bit longer to press B to actually have a good time shot. So the fact that that's in it makes sense. What the fuck? So again, the fact that that is in it actually makes sense, and it seems to kind of work well. I did manage to get a few goals off of time shots, which was really helpful. But again, I think I'm going to be pressing B just because I'm used to it for, driven shots in previous games. If you still want to do that, you can hold both bumpers. And in a situation, if you're one-on-one, then I think it makes sense to do a driven shot. I think in one of the goals in the video in the gameplay that I'm showing in the background was with Benzema with a driven shot. So, in those situations, I think it makes sense. Certain goals will go in if it makes sense and you do a certain shot, like a finesse at the top of the box. It'll make sense to do a finesse rather than a driven shot, for example. So I think shooting is going to be a little bit, it's going to be hard to get used to, but at the same time, I think it's going to be nice to kind of learn something new and figure out what's going to be good and what's going to be bad. The first touch system, I haven't really figured that out yet, honestly, so I'm not really going to touch upon it, but eventually once we get into more in-depth video, we'll talk about it then. One thing in the midfield as well that's actually really nice is just the fluidity. You guys know how much that's important to me and how much, like how important it is to me, like how good players feel on the ball. And while I think people feel a little bit slower just in general, they don't feel like they're stuck in mud. They don't feel like, they're like a truck trying to turn around or anything like we've seen in FIFA 18, FIFA 17. Now, I'm kind of cautiously optimistic about that because this is offline. We're playing against AI opponents. So maybe once we're online, it might switch to players stuck in mud, players feeling like they're, trucks. But hopefully that's not the case. So again, I'm kind of cautiously optimistic about that. But for now, it does feel really nice. They do feel a lot fluid, right? And if you're kind of having trouble with that, don't sprint as much. I've noticed that people are like, it's a lot harder to turn in this FIFA compared to past FIFAs if you're sprinting a lot. So just learn to not sprint. That's one thing I was noticing as well. For the passing, it was interesting just because, if people are crowded and you try to pass to certain players, obviously going to be hard to pass to a certain player that you want. But, most of the time the passing's fine, but other times it just goes to a completely wrong player. And I'm not entirely sure why. Hopefully that's my fault. Like, I really do hope it's my fault because then I can actually fix it. But I'm not entirely sure on that. Another thing with passing is, there's not really going to be any more of those things where, if you're trying to pass the ball to someone and your back is turned towards them, you won't be able to just turn and immediately thread 3 defenders and send them through on goal. There's going to be no more of that. If you have someone like Kroos or Modric who has really high vision, you might be able to do a little back heel flick or, a short pass and it'll be good, right? Because they're obviously good passers, they have good vision, so that'll make sense. But if you have someone who's like a striker, who's obviously not made for passing, you have to turn around and then pass, so then the player actually sees them. So that, I think that's really nice just because, one, it's a little bit more realistic, and two, it kind of cuts down on that cheese a little bit, right? Because again, there's going to be no more of that random ass 180 no look passes that sends people through on goal. So personally, I really do like that. Vision actually makes a difference in my opinion, so that's going to be really helpful. For defending, I haven't really noticed a lot of things, honestly, just because again it's against AI. I noticed that people kind of cover certain positions a lot better. So I'll talk about fullbacks in a second, but let's take Marcelo, who's more attacking, right? If he's forward and I lose the ball, they start going down that right wing, right where that space is empty because Marcelo was attacking. Someone like Casemiro or Varane or Ramos, whoever that left center back is, or Modric or Kroos, whoever that left center mid is, they're going to try to fill that space. And then whoever fills that space, right, so let's take Casemiro, who's a defensive mid, let's say he goes to fill that left back spot. Someone like Kroos or Modric will go and fill Casemiro's spot. So there's a lot more of that player intelligence, whereas, in past FIFAs, it would be people, let's say, again, Marcelo runs forward, loses the ball, and that whole right flank is open. Someone like Casemiro, who's a defensive mid, won't go and cover that because they're defensive mid, they're going to stay in their defensive mid spot. Which, and you can change things to the point where if you want that to happen, that's fine. But me personally, I want to go and cover that. So they will go and cover that. They will be a lot smarter in trying to go after the ball, trying to cover positions that are open. So in my opinion, I think that's really helpful in terms of just player positioning, at least. Now, I mentioned something about fullbacks as well. This isn't really about gameplay necessarily, or against, what you have to do. It's kind of more tactically. I've noticed that left and right backs, and just kind of people in general, will listen to instructions more, like almost to a fault, actually. If you have people on getting behind, they will actually get behind. If you have people on stay back while attacking, they will actually stay back while attacking, which is really helpful because in past FIFAs, they would do it more often than not, right? They would do that instruction more often than not, but they would still say, go forward even if you had them on stay back while attacking. So for fullback specifically, I noticed that you don't really want them on stay back while attacking, at least, unbalanced, right? In your kind of initial start of the game, right, when it's 0-0, 20 minutes in, you want them on balanced or even overlap, because I notice if you have them on stay back while attacking, they will always be staying back while you're attacking. And, if you're defensive or something, you obviously would want that, so it makes sense. But if you're just balanced, there's going to be all of this space that's in front of them, and they won't go and fill it, which, you have them on stay back while attacking, so it makes sense why they're not filling it, but you want them on balance so they do actually go and fill that space. So fullbacks who are more attacking are going to be, at least I think they're going to be good this year. So people like Marcelo are going to be really, really good this year. People like Alaba are going to be good. Maybe people who are a little bit more defensive. So Nacho Monreal, for example, he's definitely more of a more defensive left back. Maybe he won't be as good. I mean, he's obviously not going to be that great anyway because of his 69 pace or whatever his pace was. He's obviously not going to be that great. But I mean, someone like him who's more defensive probably won't be as good as, say, a more attacking fullback, at least from what I've seen and what I've experienced. That might change after I play more, because again, I've only played 10-15 games, but I mean, literally every single one of those 10-15 games, the attacking fullback is going to be better. An attacking fullback was better than a more defensive fullback. So that's probably going to be it for this video, guys. If you have any questions over anything, or if you guys want to talk about certain things at all, just let me know. Just leave them in the comments, and I'll try to answer them. Let me know what you guys have found that's really overpowered, what's not overpowered, and I'll probably I might add that to a more in-depth video over it. Might try it myself as well, just to kind of get more used to the game. But again, later on, like I said before, we'll do squad builder, starter squads, top 100, all that stuff. But leave those comments where you guys try to figure out what's good, what's bad, right? And then I'll try to figure it out, and I'll play with it and see if it actually is really good, really bad, and then we can just go from there. So like I said, that's going to be it for this video. Thank you guys so much for watching. This has been Omfg. Peace.